Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another CSS tutorial where we'll be learning how to create this image of a cute dog's head. And this tutorial is actually inspired by this Adobe Illustrator tutorial from Vecteezy, and we'll be converting this into HTML and CSS. Now, as we see, there are a couple of shapes we'll be using. We'll be using circles. For these bubbles, we'll be using, for the dog's head, we'll be using two rectangles with rounded corners. We'll be using semicircles, and actually the hardest part was these triangles. Now in CSS it's very easy to make triangles, but it's very hard to create triangles with rounded corners. So we'll see how to do that. And I also added a simple animation for the eyes so that it looks like the dog is blinking. So this is pretty much what we'll be doing, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So I'll use this as a reference here, and now, as usual, we'll have the container. Let me actually start this. Okay. Now, inside of the container, we'll have two divs. One is this main bubble div, the big div in the center, and for these three divs, we'll have a separate container, and inside of the main bubble div we'll have the dog. And let's actually start with the defaults. And we'll place the container in the center of the page. Okay. So first we'll create the main bubble. And we'll place it in the circle, in the center. Okay. Now for this, these two circles that are kind of part of the main circle, we'll add them using the before and after element. And there'll be the same background and the same position as the parent, the bubble div. actually move this button. Okay, so for the before, okay, and actually these same styles will apply for the after. But we'll place it in the bottom left corner. And this bottom bubble looks a little bit bigger, so we'll just scale it. Okay, now this bubbles div, we'll use it to create these three divs, these three small bubbles that are around the main bubble. And just like the bubble, we'll use the bubbles, then bubbles before and bubbles after. Okay, this is the first one, and the other ones will be using the before and the after pseudo elements. Now the after will have the same properties. But we'll place it in the bottom center. And we'll make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so we're pretty much done with the background and the bubbles. Now we're gonna move to the dock and the different parts of the dock. So I will start inside of the bubble. We'll be placing the dock in here, and we'll start with the head and then the dog. Now these two shapes will create this yellow, we'll combine them to create this yellow image. So the head will be this top part, and the dog will be this bottom part where the mouth is. Let's actually start with the dog. So this is the bottom part. Now as you see, this circle overlaps the dock part, so we'll give it a z-index of 1, so it's on top of it. And then we're gonna do the head. Okay. Now, in order to add this patch of orange color, because I wanted to add it on both of these shapes, and these shapes are not one single shape. So I'm gonna create, for the dock and for the head, I'll create a after element for both of them, and they'll have this patch, and it will be the same size for the dock and for the head. And then I'll use overflow on these elements so that I can hide everything that is outside of the forms, of these forms. So I'll make a small comment here, put a patch. And actually, you know what guys, let me move it onto the head. So this will be, there'll be two patches. One for the head and one for the dock. So we have two patches, and we'll put them one on top of other, one on top of the other. Okay, so let me actually make this. So this is the first patch of the dock, and the one for the head will be on top of it. So they will fit together. They look like one. Okay, and now all I have to do is give the dock overflow of hidden, so that everything that is outside of the dock of this shape will be hidden. And it doesn't look like it's hidden, but if I add it also to the head, and there we have it. So this patch is actually these two shapes that are one on top of the other, because they overlap over two separate shapes. Okay, so next, under the dock, I'm gonna add the eyes and the nose. Now for the eyes, we'll be using just one. We'll create just the one, and the other one will be a box shadow. And it's kind of hard to see, but we need to give it a z-index of 1, so it's on top of the shape. Next, and also a box shadow for the second one. So 65 to the right, 0 from the top, and the color is the same. And there we have the eyes. And we add the animation at the end. Okay. So for the nose, now for the border radius, I'll be using 20. And then I'll add 5. Okay. Absolute. Not sure why it's not going to the bottom. Is that minus 45? Okay, so that's not padding absolute, this is position. And it's here, but it's just under the shape. So, 1. Okay. Now, the nose, inside of the nose we have this kind of shine. So we'll add it using the before pseudo element. Actually, the border radius will be the same as the nose, so we'll just use inherit. And there we have it. Our nose is ready. Now we're gonna work on the mouth, and I'll create these separately. One for the left part of the mouth and one for the right part of the mouth. And let me add the left part, and then we'll add the the right part. And the mat will pretty much be this border, and the rectangle inside of it will have the same color as the dock, but we'll remove the border top so that it's look like a semicircle. Okay. Okay, so the left one, actually, if you guys see here, at the end, it's not a sharp edge, but it's rounded. So in order to achieve this effect, here at the end, we'll add a before element, we'll add a circle on this part, and with the after we'll add a circle on this part, so they look rounded. Okay, you guys might see it here. Here's the circle. Okay. Okay, so we need to do the same for the after, and here for the oh, wait a minute, we can actually, let's position this first. And we need to edit the z-index to actually not to the before, but to the mouth. Okay. So we want the nose to be on top. Okay. Now we also need to add the right part. So mount left. So let's first position it. Okay, and we want to move this circle to the to the right part of the mount. And there we have it. We have these circles. On the left part of the mount is to the left, and on the right part of the mount is to the right. Okay. So next in line is the tongue. Okay, we also need to give it a z-index of 1. So what it shows. And inside of the tongue we have this line, which will be, we'll use the before element. And we're done with these shapes. Now the last thing we need to do is add these ears. Now this is kind of a pain in the butt, but before we add the ears, I just need to explain that these triangles with rounded corners, we're pretty much using like a hack. It's not a single shape. These are actually three shapes that are bundled together, and they make the illusion of a rounded triangle, triangle with rounded corners. So in order to use those triangles, I'm going to put them in separate diffs so that I can manipulate them and I can move them. So here before the head, let's actually start with the one and then we'll do the other one. So the ear will be inside of an ear container, and this ear container will be used just to translate these ears, these triangles, because we cannot do them if we just create them on a single div. You guys see what I mean in a second, and I'll have the ear inside of it. So this ear will be pretty much the triangle, and the ear container will be a handle that will manipulate the ear. Like we'll move it around using the ear container. And then for the second ear will be the same thing. Okay, let's actually start with the ear. So pretty much this triangle will be contained of the shape from the ear before and ear after. So this is the first shape. Okay, and this is the second shape. And this is the third shape. And just so you know, guys, I didn't write out those things. I found them on the internet. If you search for CSS triangle with rounded corners, you'll pretty much come across this thing. So it's pretty much what I'm using. And now when I have the ear, I can use the ear container to, because I cannot use transform on ear because it already has a transform. Because ear is part of the triangle, it's not the whole triangle. So in order to get a handle of this triangle, I need to put it inside of a div, and I can move the outer div so that I can manipulate the triangle with the corners. So okay, so this is the first tier. And for the second tier, I'll or maybe I can use this ear left, and this is ear right. So ear left. Okay, and there we have the triangles with rounded corners that resemble our ears. And the last thing we want to do is we want to add animation for the eyes. So here I'll call it blink. Okay, maybe we shouldn't. Okay, and yes, there we have it, guys. This is our interpretation of this cute dog head using only HTML and CSS. And I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.